Welcome back, everyone. Today we have an interesting product for you. It should be a relatively short video, but this is a product that's definitely a niche product. However, for the people that it is for, I think it's a pretty good option. So this is the Battle Steel Arm, which stands for Accuracy Recoil Management, I do believe. And basically what it is it's a aluminum, I believe 6065 T6 aluminum attachment that attaches to the back of your Glock. All the different frame sizes, they have options for all of those. And it allows you to either use a stock or a brace, and any AR receiver of your choice you can absolutely use. If you wanted to use something else, you can do that as well because it is AR-15 compatible, so relatively universal, if you will. And a few features you might not notice just looking at it is that it does have a steel QD sling point there, so if you want to run a sling, you certainly can do so. You've probably seen some footage of me running a sling with it, just testing it out. It works perfectly fine. And one thing that a lot of people, when they first look at this, they think this is an optics mount, which certainly it could be. If you don't have an optics mounted pistol, yep, that's where you're going to run your optics for sure. And it also gives you enough room back there for the slide to cycle without impacting it. But an interesting thing you can mount there that actually works perfectly fine is going to be a magnifier. So if you have a dot like we have here, you can run a magnifier on there, and in terms of practical accuracy at distance, you're going to greatly increase your capabilities with that type of setup. It's an option for you, but you guys have seen me shooting it. Let's let a new shooter take a look at it and see what they think about it. What do you think?
I liked it. It's just a little odd.
Yeah, but compared to just a regular pistol.
Well, yeah, it doesn't kick back each time. I feel like this helped stabilize me a little bit. So that I did like.
All right. Giddy up. So as y'all just saw, for somebody who's a little bit less experienced, less proficient with a standard pistol, I actually think it makes a more substantial improvement, if you will, because pistols are very difficult to shoot just inherently, and this, with the added points of contact, definitely makes it much easier for everyone, particularly, again, folks who aren't so great with pistols already. And before getting back into the product, we do want to thank the sponsor of today's video, and that is these folks here, the good folks over at Blackout Coffee. And of course, they are a small business that is roasting coffee here in the USA, employing Americans actually in Florida. They have a number of different blends. Today, we're going to be looking at the Brutal Awakening, which is a fantastic name. Again, it is a dark roast on there. However, they have all different types of roasts. They actually have flavors as well. They actually have like iced coffee as well. They have a ton of stuff over there. But that dark roast for folks who have acid issues with coffee definitely is one that could help you out. And for those who don't know anything about Blackout Coffee, basically, if you support what we do here on the channel, the mission of the channel, freedom, civil liberties, rights, all of those sorts of things, they're definitely on our side as well. Blackout Coffee is run by people who stand for faith, freedom, and hard work. They support our troops, the Second Amendment, and everything that makes this country great. And here's the deal. Right now, you can get 20% off your first order. Just head over to blackoutcoffee.com/Mrgunsngear and use Mrgunsngear at checkout. Once again, that would be blackoutcoffee.com and use code Mrgunsngear at checkout. Thanks again to the folks over at Blackout Coffee. Now getting back into the arm. So you guys saw the feature set. You guys have seen a couple people running it right now. There's pros and cons, definitely for sure. One of the pros for it is that obviously it's much more stable and increases the practical capability of the gun if that is something you're looking for. Con, of course, is it's much less concealable at that point. You're not just going to put this in your holster and walk around the streets, obviously. Installation is very simple. It's simply one pin back here at the rear, and they have a piece of silicone on the inside of this 6061 T6 aluminum point that kind of causes you, when you install it, causes it to mate very tightly. And I mean, this thing is rock solid. I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's not moving at all. My mic isn't picking up any movement noise because there isn't any. It is very, very solid in that regard. One con is that if you want to use the larger back straps on there, it won't fit on there. So with the Glocks, it's going to fit just with the standard back strap that comes with it, any of the generations. And again, it works with the large frames as well, like 10mm, which I think a lot of people would like for hunting type purposes for sure. And another kind of con, depending on how you look at it, is that to store this, you're either gonna have to store it in a holster, which you certainly could do for like bedside duty, something like that. But you don't wanna just leave it with the exposed trigger guard because of course Glocks don't have an external safety. And in my opinion, that's not a safe way to carry it. Of course, you could always carry it with the chamber empty, but again, that's a decision for you to make. I personally wouldn't do it, but it is something to consider as a possibility. A practical thing to think about is that when I've handed this to a few people, they want to grab up here almost instinctively, but I definitely don't recommend you do that. Even if you SBR'd this and put a vertical foregrip on there, I still don't recommend you do that. Those things break off all the time. There's plenty of videos across YouTube demonstrating that. You do still want to grip it with your traditional pistol grip, but that allows you also to use your accessories. So in my opinion, that is the way to do it. I would not recommend getting out front on it for sure. And just a few things to cover here before we close it out. This was obviously sent out for the review, full disclosure. However, I agreed to review it because I think it's an interesting product. A lot of other products that like to make Glocks into a PCC type of design. The biggest con I've had with them over the years is when you have a malfunction. And a lot of those systems actually cause malfunctions because they put something over the ejection port. But when you have a malfunction with any of those other systems that you have to like put something into, is that you can't readily rack the slide. Now, some of them have levers and buttons and things like that. However, none of them are as strong and secure as just grabbing onto the actual slide. I've actually had those levers break off that attach to your front serrations. So I just wouldn't consider that to be as user-friendly in terms of having a malfunction. Now, hopefully your Glocks don't have malfunctions, but it certainly could happen, as we all know. And then additionally, the other con, you guys probably just saw it right there. So I have large hands, XL in most gloves. But with this on here, I can't get the magazine to reliably release without coming underneath and then doing that, if that makes sense. I don't know if it's the actual increased length there from the adapter, but just know that it's something you're gonna have to practice. Like, you're probably gonna wanna use your other hand or just flip it around like that. That is a con to it for sure. Last thing to cover is going to be price point. It's not cheap. Some of those other options, competitive options, are definitely cheaper, no doubt about it. This one here, all made in America, like I said, comes in right now at $199. My personal opinion, if I was going to set a gun up with this setup, I would kind of leave it as a permanent setup. Like if I had a home defense gun and I wanted to leave it, in there, I would just put a holster on it and leave it. There's no doubt about it that, practically speaking, getting accurate hits in a timely manner is much easier with a braced pistol than it is a standard handgun. Does that matter? Will that matter? Only you guys can answer that question. And I suppose that's up to you guys, and that's how the marketplace works. But with that, that's pretty much all I have for you on the product. Should be a relatively quick video. If you like these type of videos, product reviews, definitely hit the subscribe button if I could talk. Also hit the notification bell, whether it's on YouTube, Rumble, X, wherever you guys are watching. And if you've done all that and you're not seeing 2 to 4 videos a week here on the channel, then you are being censored by an algorithm. Easy way to get around that is to sign up for the email at the website here on your screen. This will get you put on 2 different email lists. It'll get you put on the email list that goes out once a month, and it has all the videos since the previous email went out. So that way there's no big tech giant censoring your eyes from my content. What a concept. And then it'll also get you put on the daily deals email. So that way, if anything goes on sale that you guys are interested in, ammo, magazines, lights, optics, firearms themselves, firearms accessories, that'll go out in the daily deals email. It goes out every day, as the name indicates, and it has typically 8, sometimes 10 of the best deals that we find around the internet. If the item, whatever it is in that email on a given day, it's the cheapest I know of anywhere on the internet for that item. So it saves you guys some time and hopefully saves you some money as well. Additionally, we also have an SMS service that you can sign up for. That goes out at most once a day. And we'll generally have one of 2 things in it. Either it'll be like a smoking deal that I just know is going to sell out, that I have to get to you guys as soon as possible, or else you'll miss out on it. Or it'll have a new video that drops. So once again, I can get around the algorithm and get my content to the people who want to see it. And with that, that's all I have. Thank you all for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video. Crazy.